Let's make these fun and super easy coasters. Hi, I'm Angie with Cutting Edge Quilter, and today we are going to make some pretty simple coasters using a couple, 3 fabric pieces and some batting. So they're pretty simple. They come to, if you want a fast and easy project, maybe a gift for somebody. These are really easy to make. Looking for some fall, like a coloring book or clip art, something like that on the computer. So that's what I'm going to type in. Fall clip art coloring book. I just want a black and white outlines of like fall things. So I'm just going to look at my images here, and I want something simple. So something like these leaves, and I'm going to put, actually I'm going to go ahead and put outlines. Bar outlines. Doesn't have to be leaves. I mean, I kind of like want a pumpkin or something here or there, but I just need the outlines. I don't need the middle parts. So a pear would be nice. I need to look for a pear. Yeah, things like this, just an outline. Let's use this one. And I'm just going to right click and download it. Save image as. Leave outline. But, you know, you get the picture. Just go with whatever is simple. I would not suggest doing a lot of these little big designs because we're just going to do the outline of it. So we're not even going to see these little inside parts. So just find whatever you can find. But yeah, just pick and choose, and then we'll come back. I'll show you what I chose, and we'll get started cutting. I'll show you how to do that. So I have a plan on cutting out my templates. I'm going to use my Silhouette Studio, and I've told you a little bit about my Silhouette Studio before whenever I was cutting out fabric. This time I'm just going to cut out the template. So what I did was I got all my shapes that I wanted. Here's my pumpkins and the sizes of pumpkins that I wanted. I made sure my blocks are 6 by 6. So I wanted to make them a little bit smaller. So I made them at least 4 inches. This one's taller, but I wanted to make at least 4 inches in the height. And then this one's a little bit over 4 inches. And then I have some more that I found, which here's a leaf. I made sure it's a little bit over 4 inches. I made a little bit more than that. Here's another leaf. And then just a little coffee cup that I thought was cute. So I'm going to cut these out, and I'll show you how I do that in a minute. And I'm going to use those as a template to make my coaster. Okay, so I have 3, or actually 2 pieces of cardstock to make my, it doesn't matter if it's white or whatever. So what I'm going to do is use, normally you would cut out your templates with the scissors, you would print it off, cut those out, but I'm going to have the Silhouette Cameo do that. So I showed you which shapes I'm going to use. I'm going to go ahead and cut those out real quick. And there they are, cut out perfectly. So here's one leaf. My cup. And another leaf. Okay, now that you have your templates cut out, first thing you need to do is kind of center your, you could do anyway. This is going to be my, almost like an interfacing. It's actually just like an old sheet that I bought. Well, not old. There's a new sheet that I bought. So that was cheap. So I thought this would be kind of like a good interfacing. It's a little bit slick, but that's okay. And then you just put it in the middle, kind of where you want it, and just draw around your template. And there is my template. Now this is going to be the front of my coaster. So I'm just going to place this on top of here, and then I'm going to sew all around where I just marked. Just have to go slow around the corners. So there it is, all sewn up. Now what I'm going to do is cut out the inside, and then I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so just make a little snip. I think it's time to sharpen my scissors. And then I just kind of cut to maybe 1/8 of an inch. Be very careful not to cut your stitches that you just did. And I may use my other little scissors. I have a little bit better control with these little ones. Now what you can do with this is just kind of fold these things inside of here on your shape. Make sure you have the shape. And I may cut these down just a little bit to where they're not so big. Okay, and you're just going to fold these up, and then we're going to go ahead and iron these, and I'll show you how I do those. It'll be almost like a little interfacing on the inside. Okay, and here's what it looks like after it's been turned and ironed. This one looks like the back. So it was a little bit tricky, especially with the stem. So if you have to, you can always use this as a tool by Clover. I think it's just a point turner or something like that. I got this off Amazon. I'll link it below. But you would just kind of push the edges out, especially like these points right here. I had to use it to make sure I got the edges out there. So that's that. Now what I'm going to do, pretty simple, just make a little sandwich. Okay, so this is the top that I just got done turning over the interfacing. Now I'm putting it on the inside fabric that I'm using for the inside. And then what I'm going to do is top stitch all around the pumpkin. I'm going to first change my thread. I'm going to make it a brown thread like the top here. And there it is, stitched out. I think I'm going to make a yellow leaf for this one. You can make sure you get everything straight and in the middle by making creases, but I'm really not that particular. I'm just going to catty corner it, and it's not going to be straight up and down, and I'm going to just outline it. You know, if I do any more of these, I think what I'm going to do is just use regular fabric for this, for the interface. It's a little bit too, it just kind of slides everywhere, so I was just using what I had, so. Now I'm just going to kind of center that onto my fabric piece that I will, actually it's not this one, sorry, this one's going to be my inside. I'm going to center it onto this one. This one's going to be my front piece. And so I'll just center that. You can put however many pins that you want. I'm just going to put one in the middle so it doesn't slide around on me too much. And I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and sew. Definitely want to take your time with this one because there's so many little curves. And if you don't get them perfect, that's okay, because you know, leaves aren't perfect. They have all different shapes, different sizes. Now what I'm doing now is just cutting out the inside. I'm getting it just as close to the getting just as close to the stitches as I can without actually cutting the stitches, of course. Saving just a little bit of leeway just so I can because whenever you get to the corners, you want to kind of clip those corners close to the stitch, but not actually on them, so that way they'll come out nice and flat. Okay, so you have this all cut out. You've got these little corners right here. You want to snip those just right up to the stitch that you did. You don't want to cut the stitch, but just snip them with your scissors, and that way the corners will be flat. Now that I have this cut out, I'm going to put it on top of my middle fabric, and then what I will do is sew around the outline. Okay, now that you've gotten that sewn, here's what it looks like, and that's your front piece. What I do is lay down the back piece, and what I like to do is sew around this back piece, the batting and the back piece, just so it'll stay put before I attach it to the front piece. Now that you've gotten this is your back piece, and this is your front piece, what you'll do is you will put these right sides together. So you are going to put, like, the batting, it's going to face down, and then this will face down. So you have the backing on that side and then this piece. So it's going to be right sides together. Just kind of line it up and then sew 1/4 of an inch around the sides. Make sure that I usually use the bottom, that you leave about a 2-inch piece or so for turning. And what I like to do is I back stitch on this side and this side so it'll reinforce it whenever I turn and I'm not pulling out any stitches. Now that you've sewn these two together, what you're going to do is clip off the corners on all 4 corners, so that way it'll lay flat and it will have the nice points at the end. So you want to make sure that you trim the corners, get as close to your stitch as you can without actually cutting it. Okay, now you're going to turn. This is where this clover turner will come in handy as well. So you're going to find this and just take your time. I usually do the corners here and then just go up. And just kind of pull as you go, but don't pull too hard. You don't want to rip any stitches out. Okay, so you get your pointer and go to one edge and go as much as you can, but don't poke a hole in it or anything. But see, that's a lot better. It's going to be difficult because of the batting, and sometimes I cut the batting a little bit shorter than the actual square, so that way you don't have to worry about turning the batting, things like that, but it looks fine either way. Now you want to take this to the iron and iron it, and make sure when you iron it you turn the opening that you have, turn that in and iron that flat, and then you're going to top stitch. So you're going to sew all around the edge of that, and then you'll be done. Let's see. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. And that's it. They were pretty easy, and I had a great time working on them. They actually come together faster than what I thought they would. So definitely a great gift for, well, it doesn't matter, birthdays, Christmas is coming up, so they'd be perfect for that. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button down below and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it, and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.